Yeah.
Speaking of bizarre creatures, we were talking about this earlier, but when I went up to Santa Rosa with all the fucking homeless people,
Yep.
the underneath that freeway underpass, it was so strange to see it. So in Los Angeles, when you drive underneath a freeway underpass, or you're driving underneath an underpass, you sometimes like in Silver Lake, you'll see that they'll have like tarps set up, like that kind of block what you see, for the most part. Not even for the most part, but sometimes. This one I saw in Santa Rosa was literally like hoarders on the fucking sidewalk with so much fucking shit.
Yeah.
And the amount of homeless people that have exploded up there is just fucking, I mean, like I said, it's like tenfold. Tenfold of what it was 3 years ago. It's gotta be.
And it's gonna get worse with this. Once everybody goes back to work, not knowing that there's gonna be so much stuff that closes down because of the economy being shut down for months. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
So
wonder what they're gonna do with all this retail space.
put some homeless people in there.
You would think, but I have a feeling they're just gonna let it rot.
Yeah, they're gonna let it rot. I mean, it'll be torn down and it'll become condos or whatever it's gonna be, apartment complexes and stuff. But yeah, we were talking about it earlier. Then the thing that's insane, and I was thinking about it after we talked about it too. Why can't you make a law where you can't put a tent on the sidewalk? Like you can't camp on the sidewalk, just the sidewalk. That would be a great start, right? Getting people off of the sidewalk. I think most people would agree that that's pretty logical. Like no normal person is going to be like, let me go sleep on the fucking sidewalk tonight.
No, they're. I think most homeless people are mentally ill. They have to be
Yeah,
to be
to
comfortable
to
with
an
living
extent. Um,
I think to a larger degree than people actually think, because I feel like being like fuck it, I'm just gonna live out in the street. I think that idea
or drugs. I
of,
mean, think about it. When we
well,
were,
yeah, but also hold on a second, before we get into that. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Are people self medicating because they're mentally ill, or did they start taking drugs and it caused them to be mentally ill? I don't know what came first, and obviously it's a person to person basis,
yeah,
but I think that I do agree it would be nice to be able to have public streets or public walkways cleared for specifically for safety reasons
dude, I
for
go for a run. I go for
yeah.
a run, right? I run to the park. There's
Mm-hmm.
now there's three tents, but there used to be just one tent under that underpass of
Oh,
the
the one lady?
the freeway. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's three tents there now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every time I run by there, like I have to run a different route now because every time I run by there, I think I'm gonna get some fucking disease. It smells like piss and whatever the fuck they're smoking, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just insanely
And you never know if you're
unsanitary.
gonna, if you
You
fall
know?
and trip on if you fall and like jab yourself with a heroin needle, because there's like a lot of junkies out there too,
Yeah.
and it's not like they're dumping their shit in they're just throwing their shit on the sidewalk.
Why can't we
So
police that? That's the craziest thing. Like everybody's praising, Gavin Newsom and all these people for doing certain things during this pandemic and this crisis, right? Which I'm kind of on the fence about. I'm not gonna like have an opinion one way or the other because it's a
well,
crazy time.
and it's because they're gonna obviously any politician is gonna highlight their successes in this. It's a great place to
Yeah.
you're on TV and it's like I've done all this for the state or I've done all this for
But this
you
has been an issue for a long
a
time now,
long time, a long time. And
and it
I
hasn't
remember
been
when
touched.
no, and I remember when we were younger and Gavin Newsom was the mayor of San Francisco, and he did some shit where I can't remember what it was, but he was able to push all the homeless people out of Golden Gate Park. And what happened was is he created this weird thing where all the homeless people ended up in like neighborhoods. So like you'll be in the dopest neighborhood in San Francisco, you'll turn a corner and there's this crazy little camp where people are spray painting stolen bicycles, and there's just it's like where am I right
Well,
now? I
yeah,
thought I
let's
was
put
in
this
like
in
a
perspective here, right? Like we live
dope
in one of
neighborhood.
the richest areas in the world, right?
Yeah,
San Francisco, to live there for like it's like downtown Manhattan prices. Like it's crazy,
absolutely.
crazy to live in San Francisco or the Bay Area for that matter. You go there, And you can feel extremely unsafe and be in the middle of a complete shithole with homeless people. Like you would think it's the like Armageddon, dude. You go downtown LA to the Skid Row, it's
Mm-hmm.
like, where am I?
Mm-hmm.
This is nuts. This is
And a block, yeah.
absolutely crazy, dude.
And a
And
block away is like a brand new area of town, all fucking done up. It's weird. All of a sudden, you just turn a corner and it's like, boom,
yeah.
there you are. It's really strange.
And what do you do like as a citizen, right? Like quote unquote normal citizen. Like I remember must have been 2 weeks ago. I I was driving downtown and I turn on the street, and this is in the middle of like a hip, downtown district, where all the hipsters live and there's coffee shops and it's nice.
Yeah.
I just see this homeless dude passed out in the middle
Mm-hmm.
of the fucking street,
Yeah.
face down, right?
Yeah.
And there's like a 40 ounce next to him and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So he's obviously just drunk off his ass. Passed
Or is he
out.
dead, dude? Or is he dead?
I don't know, but it's not my
No.
fucking job as like, to me, it's more dangerous for me to get out of the car and try to help this person
Absolutely.
than just keep driving. And it sucks
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
it's like
Dude, it's
that
fucking
weighs on
crazy.
your conscience,
Oh,
Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah. Dude, I had a similar thing happen to me when I was driving through, like on San Fernando, over by the Home Depot. So I'm cruising down San Fernando one night, and on the right-hand side of the street, in the fucking street in San Fernando, it's like a 45-mile-an-hour zone over by there.
popping, yeah.
So it's people are going not maybe not 45, maybe it's a 40, but either way, people fucking rip on that street. So I'm cruising and I see a fucking bike that has fallen over in the road, and a dude laying face up with both his arms in the air, laying on the fucking street, and I go, "Fuck, is he dead? Or do I stop? Or what if I stop and he's passed out? I wake him up to get him out of the fucking street, and then he tries to fight me."
Right.
Or it's a setup, and there's two other homeless guys fucking waiting in the fucking wings.
You don't know,
to jack me.
dude.
You don't know. It's fucking crazy.
And it's completely, it's just fucked up.
It is
Both
fucked up.
ways because
Yeah, and you have to be. It's weird how you have to be like super desensitized to the fucking bad shit that you see.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's almost like you have to have that like street smarts thing.
Oh
I
yeah.
think if you were very naive and you came to LA and that happened to you, you're just like, oh hey, oh my
Yeah.
god,
Hey man, you
And you'd be like,
okay?
oh my god, like, I need to help this person. But if you
Yeah.
like have some wits about you from living down here, from experiencing city life, or whatever
Yeah.
for a while,
Yeah.
you kind of understand like,
Mm-hmm.
I
Not
gotta keep
good.
going. I gotta keep
Yeah.
going, dude. Because who fucking
Yeah.
knows, man? Dude, like you
No.
said, dude could have just shot heroin, still have the needle in his hand, wake up and be startled and stab you in the throat and be like, ah!
Or who
Or-
knows?
Or
Who
what?
knows?
Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Why
It
the
is
fuck-
crazy.
Why haven't we figured this problem out? The
So
problem
I was-
is that we don't feel comfortable enough telling people what they have to do in a way, right? But in my opinion, it's like if you're living on the street like that, you lose some of your civil liberties,
Yeah, but you don't, and this is where everything gets kind of sticky. And I
Yeah.
was listening to Dr. Drew, and I've seen this before. I've seen it like with my own fucking eyes driving down Sunset at a stop sign one night or stoplight. So what it really comes down to is it's a matter of public safety, and I think that Dr. Drew is really worried about the plague hitting in Los Angeles because of the rats.
Yep.
And one night I saw a homeless guy sitting at a gas station on the sidewalk, and there was rats crawling all over him. There was rats crawling underneath his fucking shoes, on the ground, and he was just sitting there as rats were crawling all over this fucking guy. Right before the quarantine happened, I was cruising down Sunset again, or maybe this is afterwards. Two homeless guys sitting on the corner, and it was like right one of the first warm nights that we had. I'm seeing roaches all over the fucking place. And I think it comes down to a matter of public safety where we have to basically, we have to like fucking wrangle people in, because otherwise, people do have rights, and even cops can't go into somebody's tent because you're
That's
entering
nonsense.
their
That's
personal.
complete nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, I also agree to a certain extent. I do think that I think that certain things have to be enforced, and it's a sticky situation.
It's
But I
not. It
think
just needs
that,
to be specified. If you're
well,
camping in a park and you're
yeah,
camping in a park, right?
yeah, it should
You
be
have
illegal, right?
jurisdiction to do that, and they can't search your tent in that instance. But if you're on the sidewalk, and that's what I mean, there just needs to be like, hey, can't camp on the
So,
sidewalk, you know?
so like, but it was like at that point in time, Echo Park Lake would be a fucking
It is. Have you been
yeah.
there?
No, I haven't, but
Dude, go there tomorrow and take pictures. It's so bad.
fuck.
I don't even want to go there anymore. It's so bad. It's so bad, dude. There's
Yeah,
tents all over the place, the whole
yeah,
circle. Like, I don't even want to walk my dog there. She's gonna get
yeah.
rabies.
Something,
You know,
something. If I go, I'll take Phil with me because Phil's
dude.
Phil,
You
Phil's
need to
looking
go
for a
there,
fucking
man. It's gotten so bad, and
yeah.
it's just sad, man. It's just sad, and it sucks because we do.
It's hard to know what
care.
the answer is.
Yeah, but there is a simple answer, and the answer is people need to stop being so sensitive and more logical, right? Because we can make these rules and make these laws that can pertain to certain instances where someone is if you have someone who's mentally ill, right? And they're living in a tent on the side of the street, that is unsafe for everyone. For
It is.
everyone. You know, cuz they have to pee, they got to shit, right?
Yeah, it
They're
is.
going to do it in their tent or on the side of the road or something.
Yeah.
So it's unsanitary, it's unsafe. So it just reaches a point where it's like, hey, do you have a place to go? You know, we're going to take you to this house or whatever it is,
Camp.
you know, a building or JC Penney's that went out of business, and we're going to help you out, you know? And if you end up back on the street, you can't camp there. You can't stay there. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to go to this program. You have to.
Yeah, you're just gonna end up. There has to be some kind of tiered system. I think like some kind of weird. I can see something happening, but it has to be under like, it has to be wrapped up into this idea that if we don't get homeless people, because the people that are listening to this, if like California, because the weather's so good, homeless people from all over the fucking place come here, and people that think they're gonna make it big in the weed business or people that are, I'm going to make it big in this. And then they come out here and go, oh, fuck.
Or
and
just
then,
like, dude, could you imagine, right? Like,
people come here all the time.
back when we were in our early 20s, right? We didn't really give a shit. We were smoking cigarettes in our studio. We were like
Right.
getting pissed drunk all the time, fucking off, doing this, doing that, doing this, right? If you're living in LA and you're like kicking it on Venice Beach and you're just enjoying life, partying, doing drugs, getting crazy, you know? And you can just sleep on the street in a tent or park your shitty van. I mean, that's another thing, dude. On
Yeah.
our corner, there's just like
Vans everywhere.
vans, and someone has like a thing that they're towing. Have you seen that one?
Oh, that thing is fucking crazy. They have like that whole setup is so crazy.
It's wild.
Yeah, because they have like their SUV and their fucking weird thing they're towing.
Yeah.
It's like a mini horse trailer or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Who knows what's in that shit, right? Like,
yeah, who knows?
and it's parked right there.
Oh yeah, right in front of our apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. But I do wish that there was some kind of like, if they just wrapped it up in saying this is a matter of public health, that because of the rats and the roaches and the spread of disease, this has become a fucking bad situation. So therefore, because of that, now we have to resort to drastic actions. Taking away, infringing
Yeah, they can
on...
take it that route. I mean, I think it's...
You're going to have to. Or you're going to have to. And then... But
everybody's so
that,
fucking sensitive in California. That's the problem. Is like,
yeah,
everybody is so sensitive.
Well, it's true, but also you got to think of it from like a point of view of law too, like actual, like from the like a constitutional, like what are your constitutional rights? And
Constitutional
things like
right is the sidewalk.
Listen, we could split hairs on this, but what I'm saying is that I agree with you. I do think that there should be something done, and I think that what that looks like is a multi-tiered system of like fucking can't take care of their shit to being able to kind of assimilate into society and where that goes. Like, here's the people that are fucking nuts. You're gonna live in this fucking place. Here's the people that are on the fritz. Here you go.
We
Here's
just
the
need to
people that
make
just hit a strong,
like a Snowpiercer train that goes
there you go.
here to San
Exactly.
Bernardino.
So that, oh my god. So I had speaking of trains, or like, so one of my clients, he's always thinking of like ways to fix like the homeless problem, and because he was homeless for a while, and now he's big time. He's made a lot of money, but he doesn't have like the fuck you money just to be able to like quit his job and like do this. But so the problem is that nobody wants a homeless camp in their neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like even like Koreatown, I guess there was one where they were going to build there, and then everybody in the neighborhood was like, "Fuck you, you're not."
Oh, you
building
mean like
a
building that actually processes
houses homeless? Yeah. So they were going to do that, and then Koreatown just was like, "Nah, no, you're not here." So the problem is that nobody wants it in their backyard. Well, it's either going to have to be it's in everybody's backyard, or that's it. It's just going to have to be everywhere. But what his idea was is he wanted to own a facility that was showers and it was like a thrift store, showers, a thrift store, and a laundromat. And so what his plan was is that he wanted to have a double-decker bus where he just picks up homeless people, anybody that wants a shower and everybody wants to do their laundry, and he picks everybody up, takes them to the facility, wash their clothes, get a shower, and then any supplies they need as far as like new clothes goes, they can go over to the secondhand
Let's
thrift store and grab
incentivize people to be more homeless. I would love
Well,
that.
the thing is,
I
yeah,
could do
but
my
the thing
laundry.
is-
Somebody's gonna pick me up and do my laundry and
So-
shit. Like I'm gonna go to live in a fucking tent in Echo
So-
Park Lake.
You wouldn't, and but there are people there are dudes just like us that would do that, but we're talking about 1% of people.
Right.
Because I was working at my first haircutting job was next to a grocery store. The grocery store was awesome. What they would do is they would put all of their expired or like just about to expired, mostly produce and baked goods. So all of their baked goods, they'd put them out in shopping carts. So it'd be like 5 or 6 or 7 shopping carts of all these baked goods and all this produce that was going to expire. And so that was for anybody. Like me and you could have gone back there. I'd always look because I was always curious what was in there. And there was always like these 3 dudes that were all like mid-50s that would come over with a bag, and they would grab, some sweets and some bread and just a couple of things, and they would just take it and go home. And they would leave the rest. And then there was all the dairy farm workers. They'd bring trucks, and they would just grab everything for all the dairy farm workers. So there are people that in realistically, the market was basically giving all that stuff to those people because they knew that it would go to a good place. But there was always those 3 dudes that lived in the neighborhood, which was a nice neighborhood, who would take the stuff. So there are people that would take advantage. And you know what? Fucking A, if it's open to the public, then it's open to the public. But I do think it would be a great way to not incentivize homelessness, but to clean up people and to get people,
I don't think that's it, man.
Cleaned up.
Don't think
I think it's a part of it. And I think it would be.
I don't think it is. I think it's if people want opportunities. To me, I would rather see a more robust housing thing where they teach you things and they do your laundry and all that shit too.
These people are not going to go there.
Then that's what I'm saying though. The people that don't want to go there, they need to be dealt with in a different manner.
90% of the homeless people.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
90% of them.
Yeah, if you're not willing to work and you don't have a good enough head on your shoulders,
it's not even willing to work.
What is it?
They can't. These people can't function. The reason why they're homeless is because they can't hold down a job.
I'm saying if you're a lost cause to society in a lot of regards, right? Like you're mentally ill or you physically can't work or you whatever it is, like whatever your situation is, you need to be dealt and you don't want the help. Like you're not going to actively pursue some sort of work program or like, if an opportunity is presented that you're not going to take it type shit and you're just going to live at the lake. Like that's the problem, that the problem isn't homeless people that are homeless and want to not be homeless and like work,
I think I don't necessarily think that just the average homeless person is the problem. I think that public health is the problem. I think
It
it's
is.
not number one. Like we don't take care of the mentally ill
No,
at
not
all.
at all. But that's what I
But
mean. I think
I think
having a
that be
bigger facility, right? Like
yeah.
that people can go to for like more than just laundry and this, to keep them clean and shit, right? It's more than that. It's like, how do we help people out? Or how do we just put them in low income housing where they can live out their lives in a tiny studio apartment that has running water and
But if you're like, you can't incentivize homeless people for picking them up and letting people fucking do their laundry. Like, why would you think about that? Giving them a tiny home would be not incentivizing homeless people.
because you can
That doesn't make any sense to me.
well, what else are you gonna do? Kill them? Like, it's either you have to get them off the street somehow, and then once you get them off of the street, you can then figure out, do they need to go in a mental institution? That's a different area. Can they work? Are they willing to
Dude,
work?
we
Like,
closed in California in the early 2000s, or even the late 90s, during the later parts of the Clinton administration, and then during the Bush administration, we closed a bunch of the mental institutions.
yeah, that's
And
why.
I remember when they closed the mental institutions because right across the street from my dad's house was the field. And that field, like where my house was growing up, over by the bike jumps and shit, that a lot of homeless people would camp out there. So there was all of a sudden this weird influx of homeless people that were all mental as fuck. And I remember this one guy in particular, every morning around 9 o'clock in the morning when I was getting ready to go to beauty school, he would walk that back trail and he would be screaming at the top of his lungs. And it's because we closed the mental hospitals. And dude, you should see the mental hospital they closed out in Sonoma. That's still there. It's all abandoned. It will blow your fucking mind. It is a fucking small. It's a small town. It's a town, a fucking town. But I heard that all the people that were in that mental hospital were fucking, and they were also posing dangers to the workers because they were trying to fight them and they would bite them. So they put all these people on birth control and they pulled a bunch of their teeth. So all these people had no teeth and they were all on birth control against their will because they were all fucking. So it's like when you try to solve one problem and you create 10 more.
Escape from LA, man.
Oh my
Hunger
God.
Games.
Escape from LA. That was a.
We could even live
Don't
broadcast
get me
the
wrong,
shit,
dude.
just put everybody on the island.
I do agree that something's got to be done. I just have a hard time trying to figure out what some of the answers are.
Who knows?
There is an answer out there. It's going to take a lot of money and a lot of resources, and it's going to take a lot. It's just that the homeless people are not going to. They're just going to keep coming. California is a great place to live.
I just don't
And
understand. I don't know where
people-
the future of California is going to be. It's at least doubled since this whole thing started, the COVID shit. It's at least.
I wouldn't. I think it was starting before then, and like I can just say that because like moving from Santa Rosa 3 years ago, it's been a fucking big thing. And when they closed one camp, speaking of closing one camp, so there was this trail in Santa Rosa that became a huge homeless camp, and it was right by Dave, my buddy Dave, his store in Santa Rosa. So all of a sudden, like every time you walk into his store, there'd be like 3 or 4 homeless dudes like buzzing around in there, fucking stinking up the joint, stealing shit every day. And like one guy like left, and I was like, "Damn, Dave!" I was like, "This fucking sucks." Like, you got these fucking homeless dudes in here, like obviously stealing shit, stinking up the joint. He's like, "Dude, I can't say a word to these guys because if I tell one guy to get the fuck out, they'll show up with like 15 dudes and they'll just fucking terrorize my business."
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, what a weird thing. So he basically said like it's just better for me to not say anything, let these fucking dudes steal from them, and just call it a day.
I wonder if communist China has this problem. or if they just like incinerate people. Like there's no where else in the world is there a homeless problem like this?
I have no idea. I
Other
think
than
it's
like
either,
just extreme poverty in general, you know?
you
Like
know, I think that South America's got some crazy shit.
yeah, probably.
And I think that in a lot of places like Jamaica, you'll just set up people just live on the side of the road, and it's not even considered homelessness because the poverty is so widespread.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like almost a way of existence down there. It's like a accepted way to live in a way, you know?
Or just that that's just what they've done, forever.
Yeah.
It's like totally
And it's
just.
probably more spread out. I mean, that's the thing is I don't know.
I I,
It's not.
I would
I don't want to talk
think
about
that.
homeless shit anymore. It's bumming me out. It's bumming me out, man.
Yeah, yeah.